Welcome to One Man's Tracks. If you're already a fan of this group, you probably already know that it's comprised of three brothers and a cousin from the Followill family, that the brothers grew up Pentecostal with an itinerant preacher father down in the south whose name was Leon and whose father was also named Leon, and that the band never really got any exposure to music beyond gospel until Leon Jr. stopped preaching and they settled down for a bit in Tennessee, where they got exposed to Pearl Jam and Zeppelin, and the brothers got the idea then to finally start a band. Caleb, Jared, Matthew, and Nathan are the kings of Leon and have been since around the turn of the millennium, and since then they've been on a pretty steady trajectory to becoming one of the biggest rock bands of their generation. From their debut in 2003, Youth and Young Manhood being a major hit in the UK, selling 750,000 copies and sending them touring overseas right away, to now being the first mainstream band to sell an album as an NFT. These guys have almost completely evolved and transformed over the past 20 years. I'm here today to jump back a little bit in that evolution when the band were still innocent and raw and talk about this. The band's sophomore album through RCA Records, produced by Ethan Johns and Angelo Petraglia, mixed by Jakia King, released in 2004. This is Kings of Leon, Aha Shake Heartbreak. It's not southern rock, but it's rock from the south. This struts in with confidence, displays insecurities, is full of energetic bangers with infectious grooves and memorable hooks that have me at the very least tapping my foot and at best have me cruising along the countryside carefree and singing along. There's quite a few similarities to that recent sophomore Black Rebel Motorcycle Club album I reviewed. This was also conceived while on tour for the first time, and a ton of it was written and recorded with that live music audience in mind. Their connection is intimate and immediate. These tracks feel comfortable and familiar while still having that modern flair to them. Caleb's vocal delivery never gets stale or grating. His rougher and sometimes veiled lyricism are really nicely smoothed out by this band's charm. For a band that now fills stadiums with their hits, this project really captures their youthful, rebellious spirit. It's a band that feels focused, feels affirmed, feels like they need to prove themselves, make something unexpected and something pure. And from the beckoning riffs of the opening number, Slow Nights So Long, you're in for their 38 minutes of honest, feel-good rock and roll. They put you at ease and open you up to their sound with this intro and end it off with a little bonus coda titled Too Good to Tango, and it's just this catchy repeated phrase of "Rise and shine, all you gold-digging mothers, are you too good to tango with the poor, poor boys?" I'm disarmed and immediately feeling the charm right out the gates here. The transition onto King of the Rodeo is so damn smooth. It's one of the reasons that this album keeps me captive for its entirety. The way they just slide into these snappy rock jams. You let the good times roll with this one and then move on to the track where this album got its name, Upper Jean Girl. Honestly, this instrumental feels a little bit too good to be true, and like a lot of the songs about girls on this album, it probably is. Thankfully, the lyrics are at least interesting enough, and the chorus delivery is much rowdier, and it saves this track from being this record's most overproduced piece. Pistol of Fire is another quick punk jam that's been fused into a classic-sounding southern rock tune. I haven't a clue what the meaning of this one is, but it wins me over on its energy alone. Now Milk is my favorite Kings of Leon song, and at 4 minutes it's the longest on the album, lucky me. This track has time to really tell a story, from its understated openings to its powerful builds. I believe it's about another girl they met on the road and probably had to say goodbye to a little too soon. It's told in such a heartfelt way, as well as having one of the best choruses on this album. She saw me come over, her hourglass body. She had problem with drinking milk and being school tardy. She'll loan you her toothbrush, she'll bartend your party. Oh, it's just so damn good. The album's light and loose lead single is next, titled The Bucket. The tone of this one doesn't really quite match its content. When MTV would play this back in the day, they would censor the word legs on the line, "You kick the bucket and I'll swing my legs," for potentially alluding to suicide, but even if it is, I don't think it's meant to be taken literally. This song, I think, is about the band realizing how a life on the road can kind of turn you into assholes and kicking that bucket and trying to find a new balance while still having fun being young rock stars. The middle of this album is full of these self-deprecating bangers, with another favorite of mine following The Bucket up. It's soft, and it's a song about becoming increasingly agitated about ED, and I think it would make for one of the funniest Viagra commercials of the early 2000s if they scooped this song up. It's just too much fun. You have to try it out. A playful bass line leads us through the quick jam that is Raz, and then you're on to the low-key beginnings of day-old blues that switches from acoustic verses to these epic groovy choruses of Dale, 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 the blues, Dale, 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 blues. Now with a shout out to Zeppelin's Four Sticks guitar riff, they charge in on the confrontational four kicks. This album's shortest single sure packs a whole lot into its just over 2-minute runtime. And I challenge you not to dance to Velvet Snow. It's in contention for another favorite of mine with Milk, and it's just fast, bumps along, and is undeniably fun to sing along with. They finish off with an interesting swayer titled Remo. The words leave quite a bit up for interpretation, even with one of Caleb's clearest deliveries here. Either way, I'm a little bummed out because I know it's the end of the album, and since my copy doesn't have a Where Nobody Knows tacked on as a bonus track, that's all this album's got for me. Luckily for me, though, it's highly replayable and super enjoyable. I'm just so glad I decided to give the Kings of Leon a second try. They'd follow this up in 2007 with Because of the Times, and then they would absolutely explode onto the mainstream with their fourth album, Only the Night, off of the back of their massive worldwide hits, Use Somebody and Sex is on Fire. Those songs are admittedly good songs, but in the summer of '08 and the summer of '09, I heard them enough times that I'd actually kind of formed a negative opinion of the band, probably just because they didn't have enough radio-friendly rock competitors. Either way, I basically thought I'd heard enough of them to last a lifetime, or so I'd thought. When I did finally end up giving them the fresh start they deserve, I ended up enjoying a few of their albums. Their debut is great. I adore this one. Their follow-up to Only the Night, Come Around Sundown, is a solid project. Followed it up with Mechanical Bull in 2013. That's a good one. They've kind of recently made history with their March 2021 NFT album, When You See Yourself. It became their 6th straight #1 album in the UK. How long have you been a Kings of Leon fan? Have you ever attended a Kings of Leon show? Which of their projects is the one that hooked you in? Leave a comment down below. I'd love to know. Like the video if you made it to the end, and if you haven't already, subscribe for secondhand thrift shop reviews galore. Here's a BRMC review I've just recently done, and here's the Jets Get Born album that I enjoyed quite a bit from right around this same time. Great energetic projects, get you rocking, keep you rolling. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and have a great day.